Hello, my name is Amanda Guanlao, and together with Karl de Rosario, we'll be reporting about the Lost Chronicles of Eden Champions by Karren, Renz, Seña.
This is a fantasy novel where different realms exist, and the good fights the evil in order to keep the hidden realms a secret, where the Garden of Eden could be found.
However, the sword of Sargatanas was stolen. It was the only sword that could cut through space and time and can unlock the gate of Pandora, the gates of hell.
Nevertheless, champions are born in order to fight and protect the different realms. They fulfill their destiny with a gift of truth by accepting their fate. The story starts at the college setting where Solen and Solomon are sitting in a class observing Gabriel, while he is wooing a nice, pretty Selena for a date at his birthday the next day. Selena agreed on the offer, making Gabriel feel triumphant. After a while, Solen and Solomon felt an ominous feeling. A dark creature entered the classroom. All the other students are oblivious in this change of aura in their midst. Solen and Solomon held onto their necklaces and their souls morphed out of their camouflage doubles. As the demon, which is a bloodhound, presented itself, Solomon and Solen fought and defeated it. After battling the demon, the two warriors joined their sleeping doubles. But since the doubles seemed spaced out in the eyes of the mortal, they were kicked out of class for not paying attention. They waited until the end of the day to continue following and guarding Gabriel. While they were watching over Gabriel on his way home, they started reminiscing on how their life had been. All the training and all the work to be able to do their best and to be prepared to protect the realms. Upon arriving at Gabriel's church home, they sat on the roof watching the sunset. Not long, their other partner joined them, a violent and impatient woman, that is Selena. During these times, Gabriel was doing his chores. When Gabriel was little, Father Andres found him wandering around Quiapo with tattered clothes. He took him in since then. Gabriel has been living in the church with the Father Andres, Sister Margaret, and 15 other children who are orphans. After Gabriel's done with his chores, a little boy approached him and told him about his day, which they spend drawing superheroes, and with that thought, Gabriel had an internal question as of what is his real identity. Later that night, he got a visit from Sister Margaret. The nun gave the boy a pendant and said that was with him the day they found him. A note was attached to it as well for the pendant to be kept and revealed to him 10 years later. Gabriel was a bit shocked because after all these years, the pendant is the only clue he has to what his true identity was. He slept with uneasiness because the moment he had the pendant, some glimpse of small voices of memories were awakened and now running through his mind. The next day was Gabriel's 18th birthday, which he planned on taking Selena back to the church home after their date. Unfortunately, the date didn't go well because the well-known timid and quiet Selena have pulled out two guns and started fighting little demons that only the two of them could see. As being the normal human he was all his life, he was shocked and scared, but Selena was so violent that she just gave him two choices. Either stay here and be attacked by the demons, or will he come with her and let her take him to know who he really is? Just when Selena said that, she revealed a similar pendant that Gabriel had acquired the night before. Without any questions asked, Gabriel followed Selena. Solen and Solomon have been waiting for the other two for hours at the foot of the southern regions of Mount Manahaw. It took hours, but Selena have arrived dragging Gabriel with her. When they got there, Gabriel had so many questions, but they kept on moving. While they were traveling, 3 skilled warriors felt an ominous presence again, and not long, high-level demons revealed themselves. The 3 pulled out the same necklaces as Gabriel had, and those helped them transform and acquire the weapons that they needed in order to fight with the demons. While the battle was happening, Gabriel was terrified and dumbfounded. It was like being in the middle of a video game. Solen got pissed off of Gabriel's attitude and shouted his real name, Gabriel Alexis Diendre. That was when memories flew in Gabriel's mind that he was not aware of, and he blocked out. The three have defeated the demons and Gabriel started to come too. This time, Solen have approached Gabriel in a much gentler way than before, but they haven't answered his questions. Yet. From then on, they started looking for the puestos. Puestos are portals that open up in different places or realm. It took a while, but they found one. All of them entered, leaving Gabriel to be the last one. By stepping through this further, he wouldn't be coming back. The only benefit that he sees in this is that he will find his true identity. And that meant he'll be leaving behind his family that he'd grown to love without even saying goodbye. He was in such deep thought, but that was cut off by the pull that Solen gave as he took Gabriel inside the portal. The other side was not much of a difference from the forest that they were on a while ago, but you would distinctly see that it was different because the trees looked taller and the air smells fresher. The three warriors sighed deeply and got their guards down a bit, thinking that they are already home, at the realm closest to heaven, Cielterra. While the group continues to the city of Celios, a futuristic city where towers made of glass, steels, and minerals loomed over the jeweled streets. Joanna was sitting on her own station watching over the group. Not long, her lifelong rival Mateo knocks on her stations and tells her that the judges have been calling them for a meeting and gathering of the champions. Naturally, the two would bicker on each other until they got to the meeting room where three judges, Gideon, Deborah, and Samson was. All of them are commanders of their own field. Not long after the pair arrives, the traveling group arrived as well, with the nauseous Gabriel, of course. 6 champions were already revealed and the last one was revealed at the end, Lucas, which was labeled as a criminal not long ago. After a little word war, they all have settled down and accepted each other's differences, and that's when the judges revealed that the realms are in danger. The sword of Sargatanas was stolen by an ex-comrade of the Guardians, which was Santos. Solomon and Solen were practically close with him, and both of them were furious, but they still kept professional. And with that laid out, the judges asked if the champions were gonna accept their fate, and all the champions agreed on accepting it. On the first day of training, the champions came to Samson's house in order to train the traditional way, but it ended up a disaster since all are hot-headed teenagers. There were a lot and many different fights that Samson had trouble keeping from happening. At his last straw, he gave each champions with a suitable punishment, and after that, the champions trained and have acquired many skills for the next 2 weeks. In those 2 weeks, the champions have been keen and mastered their field of skill. The champions have also grown to know one another since Samson had insisted on keeping all 7 of them in his house. Gabriel had the opportunity to get close with Solen and become comfortable with his new life. The day came when the champions will accept their fate officially. Each one of them were nervous and started having second thoughts, even though some of them had prepared this their whole lives. But when the high priest asked each one of them, all doubts were thrown out of the window by remembering why they were doing this, and each one of them had their own reasons. In the end, all of them accepted their fate and each was blessed with different weaponries by the Troon. The evening of that day, each champion was fascinated with their weapon and became close to their tools. At the same time, there was a rally that was hosted by the champions, ruling out Selena and Gabriel. A rally is like a rock concert in worshiping God and giving inspiring words to the crowd in order to keep their faith within themselves. And since the next day they will start traveling to war, they all made the best out of it. The next day, the champions together with the other guardians were running late due to one champion that came in very, very late, which was, of course, Lucas. The plan was to get to the gates of Pandora before the planets aligned, and in order to get there fast, they all have to travel through the puestos. Long story short, they have been traveling through puestos for the past 5 days, and many fights between demons and also amongst themselves have happened. Gabriel in particular was the least experienced of the group and felt like he was a big burden. With Solen leading the group, Joanna navigating them through the puestos, Solomon making decisions and doing the tactics, Lucas keeping tabs on everyone's health and status, Mateo making sure that everyone's tools were working, and Selena being slick and professional with her work, Gabriel felt out of place. But there was this one particular time when the troop was ambushed and ended up Solen saving Joanna, but it caused Solen to be attacked with poison. Lucas did everything that he could, but he didn't heal Solen fully. At first, only the two of them knew this, and also the reason why. But later on, the rest of their companions noticed it. As the set day for the planets to draw near, the group was confronted with two difficult choices. There were two puestos that would lead them straight to the battlefield, but both had consequences. One puesto was located a few miles away, but they will be encountering heated battle with rogues and other rebellion creatures. The other was close by, but they have to go through the Tyrant Pass, a pathway that no one got out safely, and if ever they did survive, they were never the same. The choice was left for Samson to make. The troop was obviously exhausted, and taking on a battle before a war is foolish, so he chose to take a dangerous pass, but not before he ordered the troop to have some meditation and closure to their soul. They entered the Tyrant Pass, and immediately they were met by an ominous presence and terrifying whispers behind their ears that no one can see. The navigator that Joanna was using has already stopped working the moment they stepped through the tunnel-like path. With that, Joanna was filled with thoughts and whispers from the spirits that surrounded them. Luckily, Solen realized this and settled a temporary guard for the rest of the troops, but not long as Joanna tried fighting the voices. They gave in and started screaming. The rest of the troop follows with a scream, and all were trapped inside their minds with their deepest fears. From champions to other guardians, everyone was fighting their own demons inside their heads, and as everyone screamed voiceless, a beast bull-like form with 4 horns emerged from the smoke, laughing amused from the guardians that they set for themselves. But in the midst of all this trouble, Solen had broken from the spell and Gabriel wasn't far behind. But when Gabriel came to, Solen was already fighting the beast by herself, and after defeating the beast, her weak state was subsided and replaced with a new skill that she acquired, the power of super strength. Each and every guardian was freed from the demons in their heads and quickly passed to the puesto that they have located close to them. The planets started to align and there was already a war. The guardians quickly went in and aid to the other ones who came there first, which were voluntary armies from their cities that was being led by the 3 judges. Solen and Solomon was ordered to get to the gates of Pandora immediately, as the rest of the champions helped with the ongoing battles. When the partners got there, they came across Santos, who was holding a sword of Sargatanas. The 3 of them brawled. The champions were getting close to the gates. Gabriel was the first to get there, and that's when he saw the planets align and a small gash has been sliced in the gates of Pandora, leaving a few demons fly off and be free, making the war more difficult. But the worst part was he saw Solomon and Solen, the best of the guardians, on the floor in the brink of death. He called for Lucas, their healer. Luckily, he got there fast and immediately went to their aid with all his might. Gabriel, on the other hand, was running on anger and started fighting Santos, only for him to know that Sandros is his brother. With Sandros and Gabriel fighting, which is obviously Gabriel was losing, all of the champions got there safe and sound, and Solomon and Solen were back in their feet thanks to Lucas. Santos backed off the fight and said that his mission was failed since he didn't completely open the gate, and now the planets have not aligned. He dared the champions to close the open gash using their weapons from Trune, and so they did. All champions pulled their weapons and every one of them focused on it, each being the light and focused to the open gash. All except one, Gabriel. Gabriel was in a dilemma because he was the only one who was titled a champion that the weapon was not responding. As he questioned himself, Sanders pulled out a sheath and stood together with the other champions. The weapon worked as a beam like the rest and closed the gash of the gate. There he revealed that he was a true last champion and that Gabriel was prophesied to be the king. After that, Sandros disappeared with the war ended in the troubled clothes. Everyone was drained out of their energy. The knowledge that they have won but lost some gorges along the way saddened Solen, but his brother Solomon kept her at bay. They all sat once more watching the sun rise. The other champions, Joanna, Mateo, Lucas, and even Selena sat with them and continued to watch with them. Gabriel was the last to join them. Even with a new title of nobility, he still chose to be with his comrades that have become his friends. All decided to stay at Samson's, much as Solomon's and Solon's dismay. They continued to watch the sunrise in symbol of the new beginning.